father of two. My firstborn is turning 7 this year. To go a little bit further, just so that you have context. So my background is business administration, but I also work with young people in sexual reproductive health. So that's in the area of helping adolescents to make better health choices. But more relevant to the Zambia Association of Musicians, for the longest time I've been working with up-and-coming artists in the gospel hip-hop space, and I've also been working in events, a number of the gospel hip-hop events that you've been seeing in Lusaka and a few other places. I've been working with teams in the background to make those happen. One of the things I like to do when I'm meeting people the first time is throw my age out there, because sometimes people think I'm an adolescent. So I'm turning 42 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the reaction. Yeah, so I'm turning 42 this year, just to give you a bit of context. So you can tell I've been around. Just as a side note, Madam Gloria was my senior at Minali when she was in grade 12. I was in grade 10. Alright, so in terms of what I'm hoping to get done with this role in the National Executive Committee here at Zambia. So when I was defending my business proposal during the MBA, executive MBA, I did a proposal on the documentary factory. And I made an argument that Zambia has a very rich history. But one of our biggest weaknesses is that we struggle with documenting that history. We struggle with keeping facts about the history of this country. And that is working against us, because the few nations around us that have done a really good job with that, number one, they're beginning to form a very strong national identity and culture that its citizens are very proud of. Case in point, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, even just the small Malawi here. Recently I was in Uganda for some work, and you could tell that people understand their history as much as they have the history of Idi Amin and all of that. They have an appreciation for the history and their culture as a nation, primarily because they have invested in research and in documentation. So one of the things I would like for us to do as a team, we come into office, is to invest in research as an entity. That research should begin with the history of Zambian music. Yes. Because the history that if you are trying to start properly. So that research in the history of Zambian music will allow us, number one, to present the facts about Zambian music. Because there's someone that said, one of the greatest orators of this world that said, the only thing that people learn from history is that they don't learn from history. And so I wouldn't want us to fall into that trap. Because if we don't learn from history, we are prone to misplace our facts. And when we misplace our facts, we misplace our identity as a nation. But speaking more specifically to music, when we do well-documented research about the history of Zambian music, already number one, that's a source of income. I want to dive deeper into that. So I'm an author in other respects. I've written 2 books, but I've also helped people write books. And so that's a space that I'm quite well versed in. One of the things I'd like us to do as an association is introduce a series of books and a series of documentaries. So, of course, part one will be the history of Zambian music, and it will be broken into different genres. And the beauty about introducing a series is that you almost have a cash cow or a source of sustainable income. I think one of the candidates here was talking about the fact that each one of us needs to come to the table with methods of making money for the association. So already there is your proposal. So we need to write a book. Once we introduce that book, The History of Zambian Music, we will ensure that it has continuity. So it will never end. It will be the history of Zambian music part 1, the history of Zambian music part 2, the history of, and we ensure that each issue has something unique to offer the Zambian people. But knowing that Zambians are beginning to struggle quite a lot when it comes to reading, the next step to that will be to introduce a documentary film. Okay, most of you will be aware of what my brother Pompey is doing. He's done a really lovely documentary about his own life. If you haven't seen it, please go and see it, show the splash. But that's a route that we can take as an association. Who wouldn't be interested in going to see a documentary about the history of Zambian music that dives deep into well-researched information about the likes of the legendary PK Chisha, legendary Pongos, Tina Mwane, the names go on and on. And so that will serve for the association, number one, as a way for us to preserve our heritage as a country, because that is critical to us. But secondly, like I said, it's going to ensure that as we build a business model around it, it's going to help us generate income. And that income is not just going to come from within Zambia, because a well-researched documentary, you'll agree with me, can even end up on Netflix. That's the dream. So that we put Zambia on the map. Someone say Zambia Kuchalo.
Zambia Kuchalo.
Come on, let's say it better. Zambia Kuchalo.
Zambia Kuchalo.
That's more like it. We put Zambia on the map because right now film is like the biggest thing out there. Okay, people are visually inclined these days. So the moment we begin to put ourselves out there, we begin to bring more visibility to what Zambia is really all about. I believe there's been a lot of talk in the music circles about the Zambian sound, the Zambian sound. We can toy with that and begin to unearth some of these things. Even as I close, a couple more administrative things that I'd like for us to do as a committee is we need, someone spoke about a database. We need to have a database that reaches to the remotest parts of the country. The thing about you having a database, number one, it ensures that you know your people. So anyone that claims to be a member of the association should be a part of the database. The database then becomes the starting point for whatever communication that needs to go to the districts, to the provinces, and to whatever other constituents at national level. And there's so many platforms that you can use to create a robust database. That obviously allows for continuity in terms of research, so it's a working platform that has your most current information that you need for you to be able to make decisions. I believe that this team here will need the latest information, the latest updates about what's going on in the country for us to be able to make informed decisions at national level, but that will eventually benefit the young man that's in Chinsali that someone was talking about. So that database is something that we will hit the ground running. The last thing I want to say is that one of the biggest weaknesses we have as a country is when it comes to leadership, oftentimes you come into a space and there have been people that have gone ahead of you, but you want to trash the things that they have done in the past. I believe that one of my roles as research and documentation do proper research on the past executives that have been in office since this association started. Yes, they had their mistakes. There are things that they could have done better, but there are a lot of strengths. There's a lot. We are here today. We have a Zambia because they existed. So what can we learn from them? Those are the things that we need to zero in on. Those are the things that we need to research. We need to have conversation with some of the past executive members. Pick a thing or two from them. I believe that is the spirit of mentorship, accountability. Yes, we're coming in with fresh ideas, with so much passion to deliver, but we need to learn from those who have laid the foundation for us. I remain Gabriel Askana,